Welcome to A Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we're hitting up the Pink Pony Club with Kezia and Rosie from Bristol Beer Factory to talk about their International Women's Day release. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us.
Well, today we are talking about our first International Women's Collaboration Brew Day beer that we're drinking on the podcast for this year. So this is awesome because we've talked about going to International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, but we haven't actually had one of the beers yet. So this is our actual first one of 2026. So really excited to be joined by two guests. Do you guys want to say who you are, where you're from, what your role is before we get into the beer?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Kesia?
Yeah, so I'm Kezia. I am the e-commerce and marketing manager at Bristol Beer Factory. And obviously we're in Bristol.
And I'm Rosie DuToy. I'm one of two of our female brewers that worked on this beer. There's four of us brewers, so that's 50% of us are women, which is pretty cool. So one of the brewers at Bristol Beer Factory.
Fantastic. I will say, so I was reading the blog post on this beer, and there was like a line there that was like the two BBF female brewers got together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you missed a trick. You should have said the two BFFs at BBF. And I was like, oh, you missed a trick. No. And then
that
that's all my brain could think of.
Sometimes
I was like, that would have been
accidentally
great.
shorten it to BBF, and I think that's quite cute. Like your favorite beer in the pub is BBF, like
BF.
or like BF.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's cute.
Oh. So can you tell us a bit about, for anyone that is, as you said, in Bristol, we were talking about before we started recording that you've got like several pubs and locations as well. The Barley Mow being one of them, which I do want to shout out because I've gone to that one several times and I love it. And it is a really great pub. So big recommend on that. But do you guys want to tell us, one of you want to tell us about the just the brewery in general, and maybe what's the most iconic beers you make, your favorite beers?
Yeah. We have been brewing since very early on in the kind of recent craft beer wave, if you like. If you think of all those famous Bristol breweries, Bristol Beer Factory was the first on the scene in 2004. So it's been like 22 years now, which is a long time. And even just in the past sort of 5 or so years that I've been with the company, you know, I've seen incredible growth. We were brewing in this old Victorian brewery on North Street, and we had outgrown it, and so a year ago we invested in a massive new brewery in Ashton Vale, which, if anybody knows Bristol, it's only a kilometre walk away from our original site. So it's really close to the Ashton Gate Stadium, which is somewhere where our heart is because we pour a lot of beer there. Staying within BS2 is really important. Bristol Beer Factory is very sort of woven into the fabric of BS3 and has really helped with, you know, providing jobs and bringing up the local area in recent years. So that's Bristol Beer Factory. And we do have several pubs, the Barley Mow that you mentioned. We also have Junction in Harbourside, which is part of Wapping Wharf. We've recently acquired the Pump House as well in Hot Wells since November. So that's definitely worth checking out if you've not been to since we took over, because we did away with the table service and we put in our own beers, and it's a really decent priced pint now. So it's a really great place to check out. And then we've also got our tap room on North Street. So that's our venues. As for the beers, I'd say one of them, it depends who you ask, one of the most iconic beers we make, and the one that's probably known the best nationwide and certainly online, is Clearhead, which is our 0.5% alcohol-free beer. It gives 5% of sales to Men's Mental Health Charity Talk Club. Amazing beer, truly tastes like a real beer. It's a very good alcohol-free. But if you were to ask the sales team what our most iconic beer is, they'd probably say a Fortitude, like a classic. amber cask. It doesn't get more sort of traditional than that. We also have some beers that won a lot of awards back in the day. Beers like Milk Stout, Independence, Southfield Hop, these kind of very big crafty names that are well known within Bristol and even further afield.
I was going to say, I didn't know about the Pump House. That's really interesting. Like, I've not been there since that takeover, but I have been to Junction. So I can say, like, Junction was a really great spot as well. I just think the Barley Mow has my heart. So I was like, oh, that's the one that I was like, oh. And you guys make, is it all of your beers are gluten free or just all of them?
All of them.
Yeah.
As of 2025, all of our beers are gluten free. All of the can and keg are gluten free from 2021, so 2020 into 2021, and then the cask beers came 2025.
Amazing. That's I know that, like, when I've worked at beer festivals and stuff, and people have come around to be like, oh, I just like when they're attending a beer festival and they're like, I just want a beer that's gluten free, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I think this one is, and then sometimes a beer will be like, it is, but it's not certified, but like you probably could, but I wouldn't recommend it because of this, and like there's so many complexities there that it's really nice to be able to. It's nice to know that it's like, okay, well, you're somebody that we could direct people to go. If you want a gluten-free beer, there you go. Like, that's definitely, like, you're going to be able to get something over there, because sometimes it's just so hit and miss for people. So I'm assuming, obviously, like, what's the process like that for getting that gluten-free beer across the board?
So we actually add an enzyme, like at the end of the brew process, called Clarix, and that breaks down any remaining gluten that might still be lingering. Because actually, most beers would be naturally gluten free, because in the mash, the gluten is broken down into those like smaller chunks for the yeast. So if you've had like a proper like attenuated mash, then it should be gluten free. But just to like clean up any bits that might have gotten through, we add that enzyme. And then like right at the end of the process, when we finish transferring the beer, we do a little gluten test just to make sure it's definitely nothing in there. But yeah, those always come back negative. But yeah, so that's our little secret.
When I did a blog post about, I've done several blog posts about making gluten-free beer over the past few years, and when I did the one saying that all of our beer was now gluten-free, I put it to our head brewer to kind of fact check it for me, and I said we use this enzyme and it's great, and he said, you know what, but put a bit of credit to the brewers too, because their excellent brewing also contributes to it being gluten-free.
Thank you, Tristan.
Yeah, had your back. It's not just as simple as putting an enzyme.
It's not just the enzyme.
I feel like that's a good beer name. Is just not just the enzyme.
Yeah.
really showcase the brewing skills there.
Yeah, love that.
Speaking of brewing skills, this beer, I've been sipping away at it, and it's really nice, and I really can't wait to talk about it. So we're here to talk about your Cowgirl Supernova. That's your Kölsch IPA International Women's Day beer. First of all, Kölsch IPA, saw that, was like, What? How did you come up with that? How is that? How did you land on the style? How did you land on the name?
So I'll talk about the style in case I could talk about the name. So Tristan literally said, like, okay, for the first time we actually have two women working in production, so we feel like we can authentically do a Women's Day brew. So we're literally handing the reins over to you and Brian. You can brew whatever you want. Nice. And we were like, what? This is so exciting. Like anything. And yeah, one of the things we asked, like, can we use like interesting yeasts? And he was like, yeah, sure. Like literally do whatever. And so yeah, we started thinking like, what would be cool to like maybe try and get women who don't usually drink beer into trying some beers for Women's Day. And we thought, well, like, a lot of women maybe start with lagers because like it's a bit like easier to sip and all of that. And we thought, well, a Kolsch is quite nice because it's got a little bit more flavor maybe than your like traditional lagers would have, but it's still got that like clean, crisp, like sessionable vibe. And then obviously we had the Pink Boots blend that we'd been told Yakimachi wanted us to use for our brew day. So we were like, cool, how can we incorporate that but actually like showcase it without it just being like the bitterness addition at the start. And we were like, actually a dry hopped Kolsch would be so tasty. It's like it's already quite a rebellious style because it's like a hybrid between an ale and a lager, and we were like, let's just like lean into that rebelliousness, and we're just gonna mess with it, dry hop it, but then ferment it warm because it's an ale yeast, but then lager it like for a long time using the lagering technique. So like it's quite a wild beer. But yeah, we're super chuffed with how it came out.
It's so good. I'm just like, I'm sad that I
So
don't have
glad
any
you
more in
like
they're in the other fridge, and I'm kind of like, don't drink it too quickly, but also
It's so
really
sessionable,
drink
isn't
it.
it?
It's really drinkable for me.
I'm so
Oh,
And
excited
it's
to
yeah.
try it before our
5%.
launch event. I'm so excited.
Kolsch is potentially, controversially, one of my least favorite styles.
No,
There's something
that's
about
crazy.
like just that extra sweetness
Mm,
with the crispness of a lager. Like it just puts me off. However, Kölsch IPA, this is quite lovely. I feel like
right?
that little bit of extra sweetness from the Kolsch aspect of it is just kind of
Yeah.
working with the hops quite nicely.
Oh,
So
I love that.
I really like it. It's nice.
Yay!
It is, and you're right. There's got that crispness, making it really sessionable with that dry hop.
Mm,
It's good. It's worked out really well.
thank you. Stoked.
So I think the rebellious nature of the recipe really came through when trying to name the beer. People love knowing who names the beer, how beers are named in general, and most of our beers have been named by a head of brand, who's a man. And for this one, he just said to me, you know what? Because we work quite closely on a lot of marketing projects, he said, I want you to take the reins on this, the same as, the same opportunity Rosie had in the brew house. And he said, you write the brief for the design, you make up the name, you write the tasting notes, and have fun with it, and that's definitely what we did. I felt very inspired by that rebellious nature, and also the pink boots hot blend immediately made me think of cowgirls. And we also all the women of BBF, we have a WhatsApp group called the Pink Ponies, because it's
I
really
love
hard
that.
to we're all in different departments. There's marketing, there's accounting, there's the brewery, there's the pubs. We've got women across the company at different sites, and I felt like it was really nice to have a place to say, do the girls want to grab a beer today? And sort of knowing that, and knowing that we love that Midwest princess energy, that's where the name came from. But we also, at the same time, had been talking about the charities that we wanted to give some money towards, and the Eastern Cowgirls are one charity that we have chosen to support. They are a football team based in Bristol. They include gay, non-binary, female players, and they are just a lot of fun as well. And so it was really nice to be able to include them in the sales, the profits, and to give money to their organization, but also to have them down for the brew day alongside a couple of our other charity partners.
I love that.
That's awesome. How many in total of you were there? Sorry,
Yeah,
how many
there
in total were there on the brew day?
altogether?
That is a good question. Probably like at least 15. It felt like there were tons of people up there on our little brew deck, like all squeezed in. But yeah, it was a good crowd.
Yeah, definitely. We had people from our tap room. We had obviously Rosie and Briar were leading the day. There was myself and Carrie, who looks after our Brew to Give initiative, which is the charity initiative. And then we had the charity partners. So we had the Eastern Cowgirls, and we also had some of our favourite allies, the Bristol Bisons, who are a queer rugby team based in Bristol who we support, and they are just up for anything, and we just love them. They are so much fun. And I think it was really important for us with this beer to not just do it for the women, but to also represent the trans community and other marginalized genders, you know, and to kind of to not exclude anybody, because that's not what this is about. So yeah, we open the doors to a wide variety of our people.
I love that. So tell us a little bit more about the charity partners and about Brewed To Give, because that's really interesting.
Absolutely. So Brew To Give started in May 2023, and it's a self-imposed tax on the brewery. 2% of our total brewery sales every year are reserved for charities and communities in the Bristol area. And what we do is we donate to them in the form of stock. Mostly we use our currency, which is beer. So for example, St Werburgh City Farm Fair, we donate all the beer that they sell on their open days, and then they keep all of the profit. So
I love that.
rather than just writing a check for 2%, we give 2% worth of beer, let the communities sell it, and they make even more money. So it flips every £1 we give into £5. Obviously, it's not always applicable to give a community beer, and there are circumstances where we do donate money or we donate space. You know, we have venues that people can have meetings in, or we have things like card machines that charities might need to use. So there's all sorts of ways that we try to support charities and communities in our area through Brew To Give. And last year we passed £500,000 raised.
That's amazing.
So
That's particularly interesting about like like things like card readers and stuff like that you just, I think that's the thing that's like overlooked of like, how do you help a charity? And sometimes people just think like, oh, you just give money and like that's what you do. And I think that's like so mean, like it feels like it really gives that space of, this is how I feel about Bristol in general, but it really gives the space of like community,
yeah,
which is not just money. It's not just the monetary things. It's like you're physically giving a space to somebody that's like, I can't have these meetings without a space. And you're like, cool, here's a space. I can't do this thing without a card reader. Okay, cool. Like, here's a card reader. Like those type of things, I think not a lot of people think to do or give from like a charity aspect. So the fact that you've just said that, I'm like, that is really, really, really cool to know that actually.
So it's been really groundbreaking, and it's been so nice to be a part of that journey and a part of that story, and sort of watch the community grow. So when we were doing this International Women's Day beer, we immediately said, you know, what's Brewed To Give gonna do? Like how are we possibly gonna choose who we donate the profits of this particular beer to? And we actually ring fenced a little bit extra money than just the 2% that would have been from this one brew. We've set aside £2,000, and that's going to be equally spread between 4 charities. And I'm reading this so I don't miss anybody's important fact out. It's the Eastern Cowgirls, as I mentioned, who are the all-inclusive grassroots football collective. It's also 125, which is a charity supporting women who are survivors of domestic violence. We also have Project Mama, which is supporting migrant and refugee women in Bristol who are pregnant, need a support system. And then we're also supporting Trans Pride Bristol, which is a really fun one because we can also do some events with them later in the month. They've got some other things going on that we're going to be collaborating with them on.
That's a really nice like spread of organizations and causes there. I really like that. Choice. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. So Carrie and Kezia actually came to me and Brighton, like included us in that discussion of like which charities they were going to support, which like we were really honored by, because like we're not usually like involved in that sort of level. And we kind of mentioned it would be cool to work with, to give some money back to people, like specifically in like domestic abuse or that kind of thing, like where it can really help. because it's not like traditionally something that like breweries would necessarily give back to, because like sometimes they can, yeah, not have good memories for like the people being the victims. But yeah, so just having that as like a sort of quiet, here you go, do what you want with this is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing about Brewed To Give, is that we can be as involved with or as silent a partner of a charity as is suitable. There's definitely charities where we can have loads of fun and do loads of big events and talk about it loads. And there's charities where we say, we can help you and we can be just the discreet partners that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that then comes back to that sense of community, though, doesn't it? Of like, it's not you're doing
Totally.
it for the community, and because you care about your community, you're not doing it because you're like, all right, gold star, everyone, I've donated to
Yeah,
a charity. Like,
look
and I
at
think
me.
that's how
Yeah.
you can tell it's really genuine, because like, again, like being like, here's a room space, here's like, that's a really genuine move. It's not just like, here's money and let's plaster it all over things that we've given you.
Yeah.
And I think it's not necessarily just like, not beer specific stuff, but like you can tell when a business is genuine inside beer, outside beer. When it's like, I'm shouting about this really great thing I've done, but I've neglected to do all these other things. And like, instead you guys are, it's seemingly, you guys are like, if we need to be a silent partner, we'll be a silent partner, but it's something that we care about. And I think that's really nice. So
Yeah, I love that. I used to work for a charity a few years back, and I've mentioned this on the podcast probably a while ago now. But when I worked at the charity, like, people will come in and they will give you what they think you need as a charity, and then when you're like, oh, actually, I don't think that's as useful for us as you think. Like, you know, obviously we're always thankful for things, but like, I work for a homelessness charity, so it's really nice for someone to bring 50 bin bags of coats, but like, then where we were going to store 50 bin bags of coats? Like, sometimes people don't really necessarily think, and they don't ask the charities what they want or what they need. And I think that, like, community spaces, card readers, like, you guys have obviously asked those charities, found out what they need, and done that, which is really important for those charities. So thank you for doing that for them.
You're welcome. I mean, it's Carrie that heads up Brew To Give and does an amazing job, because she's so community and charity minded.
I also really like the artwork on the can.
I was going to say, I was literally just to say, how did you come up with the artwork?
The artwork, because it is great.
So probably the only man that was involved in the process, literally from, you know, the malt grains to the cardboard boxes at the end being packed, was our designer James. But he did assure me that he was blasting out Chaperone the entire time he was designing. And he had the best time following my brief for it. The girls did say to me initially, you know, we don't really want to go pink. It's so obvious.
It's hard, right? It's hard.
We can go more like red and pink.
I feel like I do think like it's like a nice blend of colours. Like, so you got the blue in there, you got the purple in there. So like the pink stands out, but you have a nice, almost like, I would say, not a disco ball, but like a strobe light effect in the background. So it just looks more dramatic.
And have you seen the actual disco ball?
Yeah, there is.
No.
Behind the logo. Disco ball.
I completely missed the actual disco ball.
It's like my favourite bit.
I love it. Like, we've got a strobe lighting, we've got pink cowboy
I was just seeing the
boots,
strobe lighting.
we've got a disco ball. Like, I love this.
That looks like a great night out.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like you probably had an amazing brew day as well, because like having the people down that you had, it probably was just like such an amazing. Like, do you have any like top highlights of the day for you that you're like, this really was like the best part of the whole day?
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like what was really cool was like involving everyone. We didn't want to just like stand in the front and be like, this is how we make beer and now we're just gonna do it. We wanted like everyone to feel like they'd added a bit to beer. So like we made sure like everybody got a chance to like, you know, tip in a stack of mull or sprinkle in the hops or squeeze out from the sorghum extract. Like,
Nice.
yeah, so just seeing everybody getting so excited about adding their own little bit, like, oh my gosh, I just added hops to a beer. Like, it was so cool seeing everyone's excitement about that. Um, yeah, so like I wouldn't say like one specific thing, just like everybody's involvement and yeah, enjoyment of like what we get to do every day, which we think is like the best job ever. Um, yeah, that would be for me.
Have you done any other like Women's Day collabs at other breweries before this one, or was this your first one?
This was my first
This was your
one.
first one.
Yeah, I know. So, like, some of my friends invited me to a bunch of others, but like, it never worked out
Mm.
like date-wise, or like, you kind of have to take leave to
Yeah.
go, and like, it's not worked out with like brewers being on leave at my brewery and stuff like that. But yeah, I've closely watched a lot of other brew days, and it always looks like such fun. So I'm so glad I finally got to be a part of one.
I did
Did you
one
oh yeah, go on.
with the Good Chemistry
Yeah.
team a couple of years ago, myself and at the time our sort of only other women in Bristol Beer Factory were really in the office. So it was me and the office team went down and got involved. And that was really fun because it was such a different kind of day than we normally do. Obviously we're around the brewery a lot, and you
Yeah.
at Bristol Beer Factory, when you join, no matter which department you join, you do a brew day. But when you're kind of doing it as a special event like that, it was really nice. And it was a big turnout too. Kelly, who at the time was running it at Good Chemistry, she had all of the She Drinks Beer community there, so it was really great.
Did you take any of the experiences from the brew days that you've seen, Rosie, and from your experience, Kezia, at Good Chemistry? Did you take any of those elements and try and put it into your brew day, or this was like the exclusive BBF experience? Like, this is come and join ours. This is how we do it.
Yeah, I think we just let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt very like unscripted, didn't it? It was just like, whoa, there's all these women
Sometimes
wandering around the brewery. This is so
sometimes that's
cool.
the best, actually. Just being able to go in and see it see a normal day in a brewery. That's actually really important for
Totally.
people.
Yeah, there was a lot of like coffee and tea being made and drank, and we had it in our, special brewery safe mugs.
Yeah.
We spilled a lot on the brewery floor and got cleaned up, and yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yes, Kesia, what was your favorite? What was your highlight of the day?
Probably the moment that the tea got spilt on the actual brewery floor. Because like Rosie said,
Spill
it
the
felt
tea.
so funny and unscripted, and we were all just like enjoying that break from the norm, and it felt like you could feel that this wasn't a normal day for the brewery either. Like, it felt fun for everybody there to have us there. Like, we brought extra energy that day. And
Totally.
the packaging day was amazing because I was sat in the staff canteen and I could just hear like Steve Nicks and Chaperone and
Yes.
90s pop even just blasting out through the brewery, and that was
Did
really
you have a
cool.
special playlist for it?
Well, so Brian did the playlist actually. I don't know what she put on, but it was amazing. Yeah, it was such a good mix.
She needs to make like a shareable link
public-
to a
yeah.
playlist.
We'll
that's
ask
what-
her.
like for you have to have like on the 8th or something. You have to have like a big event that's just like
Yeah.
it's happening, and then that playlist hits. To go back to like tasting notes, because I don't have that much. I mean, I'm really slowly sipping this, but like, is there any
Right?
to take a step back? Is there any like key tasting notes or anything while we still have beer left to taste? That
So for me, like one of the strongest like aroma tasting notes that I get is stone fruit. It's definitely coming through. So we use the Pink Boots blend, and then we also use some Nelson Sauvignon. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned, but so Briar's from New Zealand and I'm from South Africa. So we wanted to add like a little like nod to our heritage to the brew. Yeah, so we added some Nelson Sauvignon for Briar because that really works well with like the Kölsch yeast as well. It's like often got like a slightly grapey, like sweet undertone, and that like Sauvignon Blanc white wine smell that goes with this Nelson Sauvignon just like really works with this beer. And then we added some sorghum extract for my like South African heritage because you use sorghum in traditional South African beers. So yeah, that kind of that was just part of like the base malts kind of. So you don't really taste that as much, but there's like an almost like slightly medicinal twang that you get from sorghum, and you do kind of get that a little bit if you try really hard. Um, but yeah, like for me, it's the smells of like the stone fruit and then the grapey notes from that Nelson Sauvignon. And then when you sip it, it's that sweetness. It's like it was surprisingly sweet. I thought. But yeah, I hadn't tried like that many koshes. So, but yeah, I liked it. I think it really works for like what we were going for our Women's Day Brew.
I think I really like that ballot. Like it's that sweetness, but then it's balanced out with like the malts kind of like offsetting it, and that like the first sips that you get is like that like almost that crispness that you get from that as well. It's
Yeah,
just like that blend of all the flavors as well. It's really interesting, and I think when you smell it, it smells one way, which is really unique and interesting as well in a really good way.
yeah.
And then you drink it, and then you go, oh, that's kind of different. But
Wow,
like I can see where it, like I can see where the aroma and the taste kind of come together with that
blend.
fruity element, and they're different,
Yeah,
but like so both uniquely interesting as well, and like just really pleasant. So like you smell it and then you taste it
I'm
and you go,
so glad.
that's different, but also really good. And it's again, it's really moreish. That's why I'm like, we need to do tasting notes before I drink all of it
All
because
of it,
it's
yeah.
going to be gone in a minute. How did you go about getting the pink boots? Because I think I tend to see the pink boots blend a lot more in the US, and I very rarely see it over here because they don't have. I don't think they've got an actual like
Pink Beach
division.
chapter.
Yeah, chapter. That's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. How did you go about getting that pink boots? But like, did you decide that you wanted to use it, or were you approached say like, hey, do you want to use it? Like, how did that actually come about?
So Tristan told me they'd been approached by Yakima Chief, and they said, look, we'd love to, 'cause we get a lot of our hops from Yakima Chief, and we have a really good relationship with them. And when Tristan like expressed interest in doing this Women's Day brew, they had said, well, we can get you some pink boots if you'd like to use that. And he was like, well, yeah, that would go really well with like the vibe. And it was actually quite a mission to get it because they shipped it across to Belgium, which must be like where their depot is or
Yeah.
something. And we were like, look, our brew days, when was it, like the 6th of February, because we wanted a nice long time in tank so that it would have that nice like lagering that you traditionally do for a Kolsch before Women's Day. So we want to brew it now, and they were like, "Oh, we haven't even got it in the UK yet." And so they were like literally like in contact with their Belgian connections and like, when can we get it to the UK? So we literally got it as soon as it got into the UK. So yeah, we felt a bit special, which was quite fun. But yeah, I think that was more thanks to our like Yakima Chief relationship as opposed to like the Pink Boots side of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool to be like representing that in the UK because it is an
Yeah.
amazing organization.
It's that thing of like it would be so nice to have a chapter over here. But like I
Yeah.
keep seeing all these breweries in the US, it's like, yeah, pink boots blend, pink boots blend. And I'm like, we don't get any. And then
We
so then when
watched
I saw that you guys
that.
had the pink boots blend, I'm like, that's really cool. I really want to try it. Because it's like you don't really get to see that many over here that have it. So the fact that you're like,
Yeah.
can we need it on this day? And they're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not even there yet.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
oh.
How good.
Um, So the beer, by the time this episode's come out, the beer's already released. It's already out in the world for people to buy. Are you having any, or have you had any events around it at all? Is there a launch event? Will there be a launch event?
So, International Women's Day weekend, I guess, the Friday, the 6th, we're at the Seven Stars. We're going to be drinking loads of cask beer and loads of Cowgirl Supernova with other women and our charity partners. So, that's our sort of official launch event. we have a full tap takeover. And then on the Saturday, Rosie and Briar and Carrie and I will all be speaking at the International Women's Day workshop at Bristol City Hall. We're doing a workshop to kind of go through all of the things we've talked about today, really. Do a little
It's a good practice.
tasting with the crowd as well, because I think one of the beautiful things about doing something like this is that you get to drink loads of the beer.
Such fun.
And then later on in March, we will be doing another event with Trans Pride Bristol.
Amazing. I just want to shout out as well. Rosie's got a really cool sofa, and I just wanted everyone to say. I just felt like I really wanted to say for anyone.
The beer fridge.
Because that's all I can. I've been able to think about is like, that's really cool, and I just want everyone else to know how cool it is that you have a beer fridge in your sofa. So that is.
I'm fully committed to being a brewer.
I love it. Are there any venues that are definitely going to be having this beer on outside of your venues that you know that you could direct people towards, or if people want to see this beer on? I'm assuming. Do you have any left for sale that they could contact you or ask their local businesses to contact you?
Absolutely. So we deliver to independent pubs all over Bristol and beyond, sort of Bath, Cheltenham, Swindon, Exeter. And several of the pubs have already committed to it, like the Plough in Easton, the Seven Stars as well. And then obviously our venues, which you can find out more about on our website, which is bristolbeerfactory.co.uk. And also, if you keep an eye on our Instagram, we will be shouting out different venues that are pouring it over the coming weeks. And that's at Bristol Beer Factory.
Amazing. I was going to say, is there anything else you guys want to plug? Because I feel like I've finished the beer and we've got all the questions. And so is there anything else you guys want to plug?
I'm just so excited for this Friday for our launch event. We literally just spoke about that, and like we're getting like all of the brewers and the production team and the office. We're just like trying to open as many as we can, going to the Seven Stars this Friday. And yeah, I think like the Fleece is doing an event. We're going to go to That's Just Next Door. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great night celebrating our beer.
And if you are from further away than Bristol, there are wholesalers that will do it if you're an on-trade venue. But if you're just a woman at home and you want to put some beer in your beer fridge like Rosie, then you can order it online as well and deliver UK-wide.
Perfect.
I was going to say, like, ad hoc question now, because you've mentioned about the pubs that are in Bristol and the places you're excited to go. What's your like ladies' night out in Bristol? What is your ladies' night out like pub crawl through Bristol? What's your preference for where to go? If you've only got you can only go to a few places, where are you going?
I'm going to King Street.
That's fair. My first one's always Small Bar. I feel like, because I'm always like, I'm starting there. I'm starting at Small Bar, but like King Street, good shout.
King Street, and then it's nice and close to Temple Meads to get the train home for me. Yeah, same for Panimo, that it wins big points for that.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Joe, do you have any other questions? Because I feel like that's.
I think you've answered all our questions.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to go and buy this beer because it is delicious.
Yeah. It's really good. Go find out what a Kölsch IPA tastes like.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Oh, thank you for
It's
having
been
us.
such fun talking about it.
I can't get over how much I love this can. Like, I know we
I
always
really
get
like
a
the
bit like,
taste.
and like the girl said as well, like, you worry about it being pink because it's like, oh, International Women's Day pink. But actually, this can is cool as.
I do think
Like,
it strikes that nice balance where it has
Yes.
that like feminine touch, but like I don't think it's ostracizing.
it's not a girl beer. Oh, it's a
anybody.
girly beer. It's a girl beer.
I
It's
hate
not
that term, but I think it's that thing of like, I think anyone could hold this can. Like, I don't think you'd hold this
No.
can and be like, oh, that's a girl drinking it.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? I think anyone could hold this can happily.
Yeah.
Not that they shouldn't, but anyone should be able to hold any can they want to in
Yes,
the world.
of
But
course.
I think the way that this was designed is designed in such a way where it has that feminine touch, but it's not ostracizing anybody. It's not making anyone feel left out. And what I will say is when I was reading the blog post, what I really, really liked, and I wanted to say on the recording, but then the direction that we went, I didn't get a chance to when we were talking to Rosie and Kesia. But what I really liked with it, in this blog post that we're going to link to that I mentioned in the recording, there's a part that says like raising the glass, and there's a quote in that blog post that says, at Bristol Beer Factory, the shift isn't about replacing one group with another. It's about widening the circle, ensuring that brewing teams, marketing departments, tap rooms, and customers reflect the full diversity of the communities that they serve. And I thought, like, even without saying that, like recording with them as well, I really got that feeling of community, of diversity, of like thriving in a community through diversity. And so like that was, I really enjoyed talking to them, because I think every time I go to Bristol, I don't live in Bristol, obviously people know that, but I go to Bristol, or I used to go to Bristol a fair amount. I'm very familiar with Bristol, but every time I'd go, I'd get that community vibe as well. And like, I feel like this just backs up that like there's so many of the breweries there as well that have that community vibe. And so I think like when you're looking at this, like the beer that they've made, the blog post, like what they do in terms of giving back, like that just oozes out like community spirit everywhere in like the best possible way. And this beer is amazing.
The beer is amazing. It's that just because I have a piece of pie, it doesn't mean I've taken your piece of pie. There is enough pie for everyone. And there is enough Cowgirl Supernova for everyone.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the brew day was not just like, oh, we're going to just make it this one thing. They're like, let's still make that inclusive. And I feel like I just finished the last sip of the beer and I'm really sad now.
Oh, no.
Actually. But that's, I think it just comes through everything of like the design of the can has that feminine touch, but is so diverse and appealing. The way they've approached a lot of things, it has that diversity element to it. Like you said, the spread of the charities, like it was all of it, just the beer. I feel like everything here, it's all just coming together in my mind now. Everything here is just this well balanced act. The flavors are so well balanced, the community aspects well balanced, like all of it. And like I'm very familiar with Bristol Beer Factory from going and drinking at their venues. I didn't even know I was drinking at the Barley Mow as one of their venues. I just was. But I've been to Junction in Wapping Wharf quite a few times as well. And like it just gives me a new appreciation for things that from talking to them that I didn't even know. And like, I would love to have them back. So we were really good at not tangenting and staying on track, especially because I was like, they were so easy to talk to and they were so lovely and so fun that I was like,
listeners, you're going to be so shocked with how short this episode is.
There were so many things that I wanted to ask and say that kind of stemmed off things, but I was like, they're efficient, random. You can't ask that. You can't ask that. Not on this episode. Or we'd be like talking about a charity and I'm like, I can't say that off the back end of like a really nice wholesome like conversation we just had because something else popped into my brain. Like, no, don't do that. But then I did have to call out
and professional. That can't be true.
No.
Nah.
No. I think we've both just had long days of being professionals. And so we were like, all right, let's just carry on the streak of being professional. Let's just go. But I would love to have them back on and like talk to them about other beers as well that they've got and just, you know, Bristol Beer Factory in general. But I do still feel like they missed a trick in not saying the BFF said BBF. I still stand by that. I stand by that comment.
True that. Tori, if people want to suggest other International Women's Day beers that they have seen that we could drink, where can they get hold of you to do that?
Yes, I would love, Joe and I have like thrown this idea around about trying all the ones that we can try individually.
We have.
Not necessarily together, because we're not going to do that on an episode, because that's just too many.
Yes.
And actually, it would be really cool to have potentially maybe a mini series like we had with Brave Noise, but doing that for International Women's Day, maybe bringing that out every year. And this has inspired us. So thank you, Bristol Beer Factory. It's inspired us. I don't think we've properly, that I can think of, ever talk to a brewery specifically about their beer for International Women's Day. I think we've had conversations when we've gone to the brew day, but I don't think we've ever had the conversation in the same way of like, we weren't involved in the brew day, let's get them on to talk about a beer, the beer that's released. And so maybe we have. I can't even remember off the top of my head because normally those are people that were really
have now you've brought it up. Actually,
I don't think we have.
I don't
if unless it's something wrong, that listeners. Yeah, we might be remembering wrong.
You're like, yes, you did. Might be because of these people. What are you talking about?
It might be because everything blurs together quite a bit as well. And like when we
are 5.5 years,
we have our friends on as well. It's like, did we have them on for a friendly friend chat, or did we have them on to talk about it? I don't even know anymore. But this might be the first one that we had that was like, we weren't involved in the brew day. But we want to talk about the International Women's Day beer. So maybe we should do a little mini series, or we could do a little roundup of 2026 once we've tried all the beers to talk about like what our favorite ones and which ones we tried. So that could be cool. So if you want to suggest us, we are right at the height of the pinnacle, the pivotal moment in International Women's Day beer releases by the time this episode comes out.
Yes.
Please feel free to suggest who we should have on. If we want to try to get anyone else on, what beers Joe and I should be drinking, you can reach out to me at adventures_in_hoptimism, or you can email me at adventuresinhoptimism@gmail.com. You can go on the website, adventuresinhoptimism.com, but it's not been updated. So I'm just going to pretend that I have not. If you want to send it to Joe and I both, that's A Woman's Brew on Instagram and Facebook. You can email us at awomansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. You know what? Throw people in it. Copy them in. Send an email to say, go talk to them, and just direct it to us. But just be like, hey, I want you to talk to these people, and then just chuck us in an email together because that's fun. That's our email address if you want to do that. Or if you're a brewery that wants to come on and talk about your International Women's Day beer or any other special beer releases, or just about your brewery, you can email us at that email. Or if you want to just find a spot where you know that it's always going, the releases are always going to come out, you can go on our website, which is a womansbrewpod.beer. It's a womansbrewpod.beer. Joe, if people want to make recommendations to you, say they don't want to talk to me, they don't want to talk to us jointly, it's a secret conversation between just you and them that I am not to know about.
I mean, I probably wouldn't do that because I will tell her.
Well, she's going to tell me. It's like a married couple. You always tell the other person.
There are no lies between Joe and I. She is my wife. If you want to talk to me, though, if you want to recommend me beers, you don't need to recommend me Brew York's Slay Queen. I've already got it on order. So I may have been stalking Brew York's website when I saw they were doing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer beer. Just saying. Go by that because that's for International Women's Day as well. But if you'd like to tell me others, or tell me that you've had that and it's great, I am Love Beer Learning on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I will respond to you on Facebook probably, but you're better off finding me on Instagram. Or you can come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. That also hasn't been updated. So, but there are some interesting things there.
We're getting more and more rubbish at our outros.
We are.
Haven't updated this. Talk to us here. We don't care.
There is useful information that is on there. It just hasn't had anything new in a while, but that's fine. Or you can email me lovebeerlearning@gmail.com.
Go buy this beer.
I've still got a little bit left.
I don't. Mine's gone, and now I want to crack open the other three because it's really good. Go try this. Go buy it. Genuinely, it is good. Very good. Go ask your local establishment to get hands on it if they don't already. If you're going to be in Bristol, go try it at one of the venues. Hopefully, when this episode's out, it will still be pouring. Go to Barley Mo. There we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.